game and work it a little bit. Anyway, and then I made this guy come in, like a little cutscene effect. He's gonna say, "Oh, well, you talking shit," and um, so anyway, just like a little intro speech. What's this guy say? A few minor threats to the kingdom, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's all I put for him. Uh, so this guy's gonna be like your first real teammate. Like I said, these are all like debug teammates, but like this guy would be kind of like your mentor and such, and this is his little like assistant. Um, oh, also, I guess I should have mentioned, like, when they were talking there, I can make them, like, have little conversations with each other, or seem like conversations, just by, like, switching the portrait icon mid dialogue. So, like, I could just talk to this guy, and he just says that, um, or I could talk to this guy. Also, one thing that's nice, a side note, these shadows are procedurally generated, so, like, I actually need to make sure that once I start using like legit graphics and not just like these are good graphics in my opinion, but they're off of RPG Maker and they're just like very commonly used by a lot of people, even like scrubby people who are just trying to make like some shitty ass game. So I don't want to use these even though they look really good. Actually, I'll show you my game world too. So I can't go all the way down because I'm on this roof right now, but like this is my first like my opening kingdom per se. By the way, I can zoom. uh, but if I talk to this dude, it will be like my first battle, and he'll kind of be like, "Oh, so what can you do?" And so here's an example of combat. Now, obviously, I'm supposed to be by myself since this is supposed to be the beginning of the game, but I have all these moves as you saw in the pause menu, and um, I have my damage cranked hella high so I can murder people really easily. Just freaking test the shit out of things. There's this little yellow highlight that can display who's going right now. So like I'll have this first guy skip his turn. There are these target indicators if you didn't notice before. The lock means that it's like, oh, you have to target this guy. And then sometimes there are additional targets. I haven't designed that many like actual moves, but let me see if I've got one that kind of would show up. So like this one applies a buff. You have to target yourself, so it'll give yourself a buff, and then you can target two others, but you can also target enemies. Now there's really no point to that. It's like, why would I boost my enemies? But I just did it to code wise prove that I could. Like eventually maybe I'll make a spell that like gives buffs if it targets an ally, but negative buffs if, or whatever you call it, debuffs if it targets an enemy. So I go like bloop bloop. So and obviously if you don't have enough people targeted to use the spell, so this one requires a minimum of one selectable target. This is not considered a selectable target because it's locked. So let's say I just do this guy, and I could just do two allies too, and I hit go. They all get a little buff down here. I need to fix the coloration on that. That's way too dark. But this little sword here is just a little buff to their strength stat. Um, I don't know if you noticed when I was pausing, but they have like strength, or I think I called it muscle, and something for defense. Like I think I went with toughness because of HeroClix. Let's see. Um, so the moves aren't very animated. So like if I do this, I have to target the first person in line because like I said, the game's gonna be very lineup oriented. Um, but it's just gonna I could animate this, but I'm not focusing on that right now. And that's like the little death cycles. A little tombstone comes down. I could make that look cleaner. Let's see. So the red circles means these guys have gone. Should probably make better indicators of that because I don't know. It just looks kind of ugly now that I really look at it. But yeah. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and have these guys skip their own turns just to show you. I can actually control the enemies right now. This makes debugging really easy. I actually haven't programmed any AI for the enemies yet. That's one of the next things on my to-do list. So, it's useful because I can just have them, try. Uh, I try to program my game so that any ability can be used by either good guys or bad guys. So that way you can, essentially it doubles up your ability code that you write. Right? Is like, oh, I don't have to write like a separate script just for the bad guy using his moves, right? Just like a move is a move and anybody can use it. And I just try to code it in such a way that that works, and just, I might have to do a few ifs about like, oh, well, times -1 because bad guys face this way, or something like that. Um, but for the most part, I try to write my moves universally. So like this guy, it's gonna actually to tackle above here because, like I said, I haven't animated these for jack shit. Oops, sorry. I might. I did not pick anyway. Test actually doesn't animate at all. Test is just like boom, you die, kaboom. Oh, I died. And then everybody updates their lineup position. Obviously, I need lots of animations to be applied for this. Still not worrying about being pretty right now. Let's see, I'll have you skip your turn. Or, let's see, I'll show you a victory, I guess. Let's murder this guy. So it counts up your EXP. Um, and then we hit continue. I leveled up, so you get to electives, which are like, what you can pump a stat up, like perplex it up permanently, pretty much. And if theoretically you killed enough enemies in one foul swoop, you could get multiple electives if you like multi-leveled up. Or I've kind of been thinking about like making certain character classes actually get more elective points, but get like less increase to base stats. So it could be kind of like more variety for like different character classes. So character classes would be like different animals, right? It could be like a wolf or a bat or something like that. Um, so I guess I'll just, and as with all my menu system, you can use the keyboard to navigate as well. And then there's some like outro dialogue. This took a little bit of programming to make it like actually trigger a dialogue based on the battle, or not based on what happened, not based on what happened in the battle, but like just after the battle. So he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm fine," um, and they have a little conversation. And then what happens? Uh-oh, I didn't even think of this. So he joins your partner. You can't see that because he's. I have all these debug guys. I didn't think about that, but oof, I need to adjust his sprite origin too. There's little things that I need to make these graphical improvements, and so they disappear. I kind of use the pop-up of the pause menu to, one, show you that they've been added, and then two, you know, make them uh, make them disappear while you can't see them, so I don't have to do some crazy animation. Um, One thing that's a little bit unfortunate about my debug system is I have to uh, deactivate showing the wall hitboxes every time I enter a new room. So that's kind of annoying. That's one thing too that's nice. These guys like remember their dialogue where they left off. If I go, oh well. Anyway, you'll notice that as part of the cutscene code, like when that thing on the roof happened, it also triggered all these guys in here to go away. Um, so it's like everyone's off doing their missions, and that guy's just like, doing whatever he's busy with. I don't know. So let's go look around the world. Um, so it's pretty much just this one area now. Like I'm doing lots of engine stuff, not a lot of like, world building or anything. So let's see if we can do. I don't know if being zoomed out like this is even a good idea, but I was just trying to show you everything. Um, so I made like a little market and stuff, and yeah, I really like these graphics. I wish they weren't so overused, but they are overused because they are nice graphics. But I do want to eventually get like an artist to make me custom graphics that no one else has ever had before, just to say like these are my game's graphics. That's what my game looks like. Um, yeah, so I'm not even sure if all these guys have dialogue. Yeah, so that's like the default return of the dialogue function. Is like I don't have my dialogue. Um, but yeah, let's see. I mean, I have made rooms for some of these places. Like this will put you in the tower here. Oh Jesus. I need to set their sprites. They're using like this default icon thing. So that's why their shadows are all messed up. I haven't actually given them animal sprites, which why they're not animating. That's just like a default. So lots of little things that need to be done. I wonder if I can talk to this well. I had this idea of making him an NPC. Is he an NPC? Oh, he is. Good. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much my game in a nutshell. I mean, there's other little things that aren't complete yet. I'm working on like quest systems and stuff. But I could talk to these guys. They're gonna be my first quest. You're gonna have to play hide and seek with these guys. I need to make that guy not overlap that other guy. Whoopsie. I haven't made the inside of that castle yet either. That's gonna be like one of the dungeons in the game. Is getting in. You're gonna get like locked up by the king. Um, this is my really crappily drawn save thing. So you can like save. Uh, so you might have noticed like I've also I actually keep my save data even as the game plays. So I kind of like abuse saving in effect. I don't always write to a file, but I just keep all my save data is basically a giant ass map. So let's say I like pick up this item. What the game actually does is it records every object that I specify in my save function. I pretty much say like record all of these, record all of these, record all of these, and like which variables to record of them. Writes them in a fat ass map, and then so like if I leave this room and then come back to it, that potion is gone again because I picked it up. So it doesn't repopulate everything because like what it does is when I come into a room, my game keeps track of what rooms I've seen so far, what I've visited, and stores them in a list of like, oh, these are the rooms you've already been to. And if the game starts to load a room that I've already been to, then it actually destroys all of the default NPCs. These are enemies I could go fight. Like if I touch him, I'll just fight him. He's like a generic enemy. Oh, I have way too many party members. I'm not supposed to have more than 4, but that's because of the debug shit. I'm just gonna retreat. I notice the shadows are messed up too. I have to figure out what makes that happen. But anyway, uh, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, it just keeps track of everything. So like enemies, um, like if this NPC, let's say he walked around, if he walked to here, and then I went through the door and then came back out, he would be here again because like the game just records like all the key variables that I've told it to record for like all major objects. Um, and it does that for like every room you visit. Getting the shadow system was a bitch to work. Like it started off as an example, but like getting the shadow to like go over me here, but then my shadow to go over other flat things here, like that actually took some me coding. That was really annoying. I need to improve the shadows though. As you can see, for whatever reason, I sometimes my shadows glitch out in battle, and I still haven't figured out why. Anyway, I've probably talked way too long, so I'm just going to call that it. But yeah, this is the game mechanically in a nutshell, and then obviously there's like plot I've thought up and stuff like that, but I've already talked your head off probably. Is this like half an hour long? Oh my god, it is.